All right, cool. So I don't really have much for you today. Just a quick update and a quick discussion about some of the subjects I've been following so far with the students, just to kind of give you guys some ideas because I've had some really cool stuff trickling in. Um, I had my COVID vaccine, which was pretty dadgum cool. I had it yesterday, and nothing can get me to lift this arm higher than this. Other than that, I've been completely, side effect free. So I'm pretty happy about that. That's always nice. Anyway, I am so exhausted. I'm so tired. I think online classes have a tendency to tire me out more than anything else. And I don't really have a good explanation for that because technically, like, I don't have to go down to a classroom. I don't have to interact with people. Maybe that's what makes this hard for me because I really feed off of other people's energy. I can do a lot of like ad hoc kind of conversational stuff to build up to some central points I want to talk about when I've got people to play off of. But when I'm doing these videos, it's just me. Right. And I just have to have this really long conversation with myself. And it does have a bit of a tendency to just absolutely suck the energy out of my brain. So in any case, I'm going to keep the video on the short side today to try to recoup some of my own energy. I gave you the comma stuff. I'm going to start looking for the use of those comma rules in the drafts that you submit and in the writing that you post. So please keep that in mind as I go and start grading these things. I'm going to give you more of a detailed outline of what I'm expecting for this next assignment on Thursday. But I will say this. These information reports are going to stack on top of each other and are going to culminate in a much longer piece that's going to introduce another layer of scholarly research to it on Thursday. So for today, last week you wrote like 3 paragraphs of material just noting what you've been tracking. And hopefully by now you've posted that in the discussion forum for assignment 3. I'm going to ask you to do that again. And I'm going to ask you to keep following your topics and basically keeping updated on what's going on in the world with your subject. And that, from my experience, that tends to make some really good papers. So without further ado, let me share with you some of the more interesting topics that some of the students are following and some of the observations they've made. So I have one student who's really interested in naval warfare, and he is writing about the stuff going on in the South China Sea. There's a lot of interesting stories right now about the Chinese government and things that are going on, in China from a political standpoint. He's focusing on the creation of islands and the expansion of Chinese territory in the South China Sea. And a lot of countries are getting really nervous and are voicing concerns and protest to what they're seeing as kind of an aggressive expansion of China's border. They're seizing things like fisheries and other like natural resources. And what they're actually doing is they're creating a network of islands. And countries like Vietnam and the Philippines are getting very, very nervous about this activity. I don't want to go into an anti-Chinese rant here because these types of disputes and border issues happen all the time. This is not unique to China. This type of thing has happened all throughout history. But there's a lot of interesting conversation about what their strategy might be. What is it exactly they're trying to do with this expansion? And the other thing I want to introduce is this lawful according to a very loose definition of international law? These are questions that are up for debate, which is that's the kind of thing I find it much more fun when students fish for areas of controversy. Controversy is always kind of a lucrative thing to go after. So that's some interesting stuff. You can always go into kind of foreign policy stuff to participate in. You don't necessarily have to shy away from your opinion about these things. I have another student who's covering the COVID vaccines. And one of the things that she was writing about, and this was something that I noticed yesterday when I went to get my vaccine, it made it very clear none of these vaccines have been FDA approved. What they have instead is the emergency authorization. And a lot of the studies on these vaccines are still ongoing. So one of the things that she's following is, they're tracking the effectiveness of these vaccines. How effective are they? Because there's still a lot we don't know about how they'll work in fighting the virus. And so there's a lot of interesting stuff that's going on the ground. So again, this is a topic that's worth discussing. I got my vaccine, so this is not in any way just say, oh, don't get it. I mean, obviously that's your choice, but what she's writing about with the distribution, the rollout of these vaccines is really interesting as well. So most of these students, what they're trying to do is they're trying to abstain from any real opinion at this point. They're just gathering information about it and trying to think about what are some opinions that they could hold later. From there, this is a good one too. The Keystone XL pipeline and its cancellation. The way that this is going is she's looking at how the cancellation of the Keystone XL pipeline is going to affect the economy, especially in that area. We have lots of conversations about the environmental aspect of the Keystone XL pipeline, but she's very interested to see how this will affect the communities that have built up, around this area. Like those are jobs that have been lost. So that's a really fascinating one too. Last one is the stimulus checks. I believe we're on the cusp of the COVID relief bill passing, and if that happens, it looks like there's going to be another round of stimulus checks. But what this student is interested in is the income tax credit for children. We got a situation where parents might start to get regular payments for their kids, an income tax credit. That is interesting, right? What's the effect that's going to have? And for her, the effect that this could have on child poverty is extremely interesting. So as you can tell, these topics are going in a lot of different directions. And all of these are good to go. When we were talking about this is from the face-to-face class. When we were talking about this today, I constantly had students saying, is this okay to talk about? These are all 100% approved topics. Anything that's even in the realm of these topics is good to go. But remember, it doesn't necessarily have to be as serious as these are. This group has gone extremely serious with their topics. You can talk about fun things as well, stuff that's not so unbelievably weighty in the world. But these guys, they definitely are leaning more towards like the political bend. So as I run into more of these topics, I might share them with you. On Thursday, we'll have more of a guided lecture where I'm like more outlining what I'm expecting this assignment, how long it should be. All you should focus right now is, keep following your topics, keep taking notes, and Thursday, be ready to submit another page of observations on your topic to the discussion forum, and we'll keep that ongoing. Some of you guys are getting close to 100% in the participation grade. If that happens, I'm going to start boosting the grade for your papers if you keep participating in these weekly discussions. So keep that in mind. Also, I canceled last week's live session. This session this week will be worth double. So try to make sure that you're around for that one because a lot of points are up for grabs. If you guys get the chance, obviously shoot me a line, send me an email. Some of you guys are a little concerned about your grades right now. With the online class, I could try to be really, really, really understanding for things if they're late or if there's confusion. So please don't be afraid to contact me if something does not look right in your grade book. I've already had a bunch of situations where something, depending on there was something weird or strange going on with Blackboard, something was misunderstood. I'm here to help. All right. Please contact me. You guys have no idea how much I appreciate doing that. So in any case, you guys have a great day. There'll be a lot more stuff on Thursday. So you guys know what you need to do. And I'm going to go get lunch.